The linking inside each paragraph is important. So the examiner will notice that in the first body paragraph, we have a topic sentence, and then we have at present, which is an example of now, and then we say this. When we use this, it refers back to this point. And referring is very important to avoid repetition and also to get a good score, because coherence and cohesion is about referencing. Body paragraph 2, we've got topic sentence, we've got for example, so we have an example, and then we've got therefore. Body paragraph 3, we have a topic sentence, we have this to refer back to the point here. We've got in other words, which we use when we want to give more information and more explanation. And moreover is when we add some different supporting point. So the examiner will pay attention to the fact that we have a variety of linkers. They are used correctly, but we also have not overused our linking devices. They are used naturally. So those are the main points that the examiner is going to notice in your essay. Now it's time to have a quick look at some language so that you can improve your English for this topic. Some vocabulary. Now our topic is about university education and fees. So of course the first thing we do before we start writing the essay is think of paraphrasing. If you cannot find a safe paraphrase, and I mean safe, which means you are 100% sure that it's not a mistake. If you cannot find safe paraphrases, then don't. There are many other words in your essay which you can paraphrase successfully. Now, our essay was about university education and fees. So the first thing we've got is different paraphrases for university education. We've got tertiary education and higher education. So we have 3 options to use through our essay. We certainly do not need any more. For the fees, you will see that this word is used repeatedly through the essay. That is correct. There are not many ways to paraphrase fees. We have paraphrased it as cost in the essay, but this, although it has the same meaning, this word cannot be used as a direct paraphrase because it is slightly different. So in this essay we have used fees most of the time in the essay, and we have also paraphrased cost once. The next point, in the essay question they had the word afford, and we changed that to affordable. So again, that's a very nice example of being flexible. You don't need to use different vocabulary, you can change the form. Abolish and get rid of. Now we used both of those words in the essay. Get rid of is a very useful verb because we can use it for almost anything. For example, get rid of waste, to throw away waste. So it can be used in many situations, but abolish can only be used with laws and rules. So if you have a rule that university has a fee, then we can talk about abolishing that rule. So that's about collocations, which means using the right verb with the right noun. So that's a very nice word to use if you've got rules or laws. Another one, in the first body paragraph, we talked about poor students and rich students. And a nice way to paraphrase that is to say students from a poor background. It's also possible to paraphrase when you're talking about society. We talked about a large proportion of society. Again, this is very nice because you're being more clear. You know, are you talking about all society or a large proportion? If your language is more accurate, you will get a better band score. You can also say a wider section of the population. That's a nice paraphrase. We talked about equal rights in this essay, which is of course discrimination. But I used the word discriminatory, which means unfair. We also talked about students working and studying. And of course, if they don't need to work, they can apply themselves to their studies. And this means to focus on. Another point, this is about money and cost. We talk about financial considerations, and these are concerns relating to finance. We also talked about in the essay, and just previously, about poor students and students from a poor background. It's also possible to talk about people with limited financial means, and this means they're not necessarily poor, but they have a limited amount of money. In the conclusion, we said it's a must, which means we 100% believe this should happen. And we also said it will be recouped. So the money that is spent for free education will be recouped many times over. And that means recovered, brought back again. So there's quite a lot of useful language for you to learn in that essay. Now let's have a look at how to write a balanced approach for an opinion essay. Let me show you how to write a balanced opinion essay. I'm going to take you step by step through the essay so that you avoid any problems, because believe me, the balanced opinion essay can be difficult to write. Now the first step, of course, is brainstorming. Now we already have supporting points for free university education from the previous essay. We had the equal rights issue. We've got students don't need to work and study at the same time, and also that free university education benefits society. So we had 3 main points, but of course it's a balanced essay, so we need to look at the other side as well. The first main point against free university education is that it can cause financial problems for a country. If education is free, then the government will need to pay for it. So, of course, that could be a problem. And the next main point is disinterested students. This means that because education is free, it encourages students to go to university even if they're not interested. So it encourages students who are not interested to go to university, which is not a good thing. Now, as you know, before we start writing an essay, it's not enough to brainstorm the main points. We need to look at supporting points. So let's do that now. Supporting points for our first main point against free university education. And the main point is that it causes financial problems for a country. To support that point, we want to explain it step by step. So basically, we're giving more detail in our body paragraph. So, free education means that universities don't have an income. As a result, it means that the government or the state must find the income to give to universities. If that happens, then there will be a reduction in the funding for other sectors. So other sectors will lose funding. What do we mean by other sectors? Remember, you need to think very clearly before you start writing. Other sectors means other areas in society that the government supports. So, for example, healthcare and things like that. And the last point is that free university education causes financial problems for a country, and actually it's not possible for many countries around the world to offer free university education. So that's our first main point, planned. Let's move on to the next. And the other main point is about disinterested students who are not really interested in studying. Now, to explain this main point further, we can say that they are going to university because it's free to avoid getting a job. It's easier to go to university. As a result, they're not really interested and they do not apply themselves. Now, we learnt that last time in the last essay, and it means that they're not going to focus and study really hard because they're not so interested. And of course, the biggest problem is that it is a waste of a country's resources to give free education to people who aren't really interested and who are just avoiding getting a job. So those are the main points with supporting points planned. Now it's time to start writing the essay. First, however, let's have a look at some rules for writing the balanced approach. So the first one, it has to be a clear opinion because it is an opinion essay. And yes, we will use ideas from both sides. However, this is not a discussion essay and we are not going to discuss both sides equally. Also, we are not going to agree with both sides. You cannot agree 100% with this side and at the same time agree 100% with the other side. That's not a clear opinion and that will be a problem for your band score. So what you have to do is give a specific opinion. You need to be clear about what you do agree with and exactly what you don't agree with. So the key is the way that you express your views. And that means it's the language you use. It's your method of writing your opinion. And that is what I'm going to show you. So what we're going to do now is take a look at the introduction.